more innovations on that end than another thing.
It's like buying the new vacuum cleaner and you find out a month later that you still need the same time to clean your house.
Yeah.
Didn't change much. Yeah, well, they're working on that part. But actually, one of the things that I've been impressed with is industrial design seems to have actually a bit of a renaissance. A lot of companies that I've seen here, where I come every year, and there's like the A-list players and the B-list players in terms of like bevels on TVs, or in terms of fit and finish, and the materials that they're using. And there's a lot of companies that I don't consider A-list players. I was just over at Casio, for example. And Casio has an interesting product line, but they're not Samsung, they're not LG, they're not Sony. And yet their products, they've revved all of it. And it all has different industrial design. That's a nice improvement. So what that's right.
And I know we have an audience with many marketers here, and I'm just interested if they started to see if you all have started to see new platforms for addressing audiences. And the reason I bring that up is because it used to be in the online world, you could buy Google for direct response, and you could buy Yahoo or AOL or an ad network for brand advertising. And now today, with the introduction of social and mobile and online streaming video, you have all these options for reaching audiences, and you have these new platforms, the social networks, all of the streamed video, all of the devices that we use. So I'm really curious to see if there's anything new on that front that you see that we may not see.
Right. So now I want to take that same question.
I recently launched their app, and I did it all unique, and I tried to use all these bootstrap free services I could. One of them was Knoll. It's kind of cool. You put a little widget on your deal, and then when you're online using your IM client, it goes through their service without you.
It's a way to promote your app.
Yeah, and so it's like actually customer service. So
it's a customer service application. We use them in like 9 companies. We're very, very happy with them.
Mark.
It's nice. It's passive for you and active for them. So you log on, and then the site shows you're on there, and then it shows advertises your availability, and then the customer's like really easy to use on there. So it's one company.
There have been many of these services in the past, and they were all unsuccessful because we didn't have the data bandwidth, we didn't have the availability on the iPhones and all of that.
You said because they weren't collaborative?
They weren't reliable.
Reliable.
Consistent. This is the two major things. And the simplicity of it.
But on the reliability side, right, it's very funny. So you go to the show floor, you say, oh, we have this awesome new thing. It does real-time data analytics, big data, and does advertisement. And they, oh, it's awesome, show me. And then they go to the device, and you see this loading wheel, and say, it's a CES, right? Connectivity is kind of difficult right now. So guess what? In a month from now, or half a year from now, that's how it's going to be for everyone. So that's how your platform is performing right now. I'm not going to buy it, because why would you do real-time data and start processing a billion tweets if you can't actually do it, right? So what you see right now is at CES is probably reality in 6 months from now. And so if you can't do it at CES, your product is probably on showtime, right?
At the same time, I want to push back on that, especially since I heard that we have a lot of marketers in this group, and so I want to just make a guess on something that might be valuable for this audience when it comes to investing and hearing the fact that things don't work, they get shut down, you stop investing in things that aren't working that well. At the same time, I would say be hungry, my friends. So as the community architect at Zappos a little while back, and when we were there, we played with everything new. We didn't wait until we could look at 20 case studies of how everyone got ahead of us and was doing really good on Twitter. Just jumped right on as soon as it came out. More recently, we played with sticky bits, which totally got shut down. And so was it a waste of our time to play with sticky bits, which lets you have these little barcodes that you could put on anything that lets you have a digital card or element or photo or video tied to it. No, we sent out little barcodes on boxes, and whenever the person, if they happened to scan it with sticky bits, they'd see this little fun video from someone at the company just like, hey, hope you like it, yay! The people who had that experience, they loved it. And even though Sticky Bits shut down and got turned into Turntable FM, we still are way ahead of the curve as marketers because we were playing with these very early stage startups that no one had proven that they were going to last in the market, but they let us be innovative, creative, and try new things. So I highly encourage you, to go find just the crazy little things on the edge that are just coming out, that aren't working well very yet, that have some issues, and play with them and be the experts in applying those types of things.
At the risk of agreeing with you, I would just say that.
And that's not allowed.
Not allowed. So,
You're
but
wrong.
it's, well, and I'm a later stage guy, so I would generally not agree with that comment, but I think it's a way to, for a marketer, if you can find some of these tools or services that even while they're small, you take less risk, right? Because they don't have as much scale or as much audience, so you can take a little bit of risk in some of your new programs while you're still, presumably directing dollars towards maybe more scaled and proven
No one
platforms.
cares
So-
if you use a Twitter account well now. You better answer my questions there, and you have to do those things. So you get a chance to really innovate with customers and have a great experience with them when you're trying new things that people haven't used yet. You get to become that case study of how this little thing that maybe 1 year later they get sold to Facebook for $1 billion, and you were the first one who had an Instagram marketing campaign.
Or a better karma that's sold Facebook gifts is that something you invested in?
I think you're right on it about services like customer service. We're seeing a trend where customer service, especially Comcast, is really innovating on this, which is surprising as hell. They're turning it into upsell. And these places like SMS, also things that services in constrained situations, broadband. We're seeing people going from broadband-enabled chat to SMS and multi-user SMS and semantic machine learning on SMS to find problems and pointing people right away by having to do it over and over again, paying people to the actual fact of the problem to fix. And then the other part of that is you're going to see ads on there because we have a big problem right now with major campaigns where there's not enough content that's appropriate to put ad inventory.
Customer care is a really interesting section, especially for telcos, because people trust us so much.
For some definition of the word trust.
I thought I just heard that you're starting to upsell customer service, so that's a premium feature now, right?
Really,
One of my, no, we're not very enough for customer service. What's interesting is that we run a couple of products right now with one of our portfolio companies, which is Pi Digital, which is in-home network management. And we just heard yesterday from JD Powers we're going to have at least 20 devices by next year already interconnected. And every run around the show floor and ask people, now how does the scale connect? How does this Zigbee thing connect? Oh, it's also the Wi-Fi router, right? To the telco's networks. And I'm like, oh my God, right? How are we going to service that? Because people are going to call us. So the funny thing is that this silent application that sits on your iPhone or your Android phone or even embedded on your router basically tells you there are 4 devices that don't have virus information. And I'm also an investor in Lookout, which is the mobile security suite. There are 4 devices that don't have virus, or there's the firewall that isn't even on. You install it, but you didn't enable it. And for some reason, and don't ask me why, German average customers, right? The typical German, these are random customers, right now about 2,000 that have this thing installed. So not the Silicon Valley, San Francisco, New York crowd. They look at this thing, oh, I should really install this. And we have a so at 70% of the households, we discovered that virus scanner was not on, that the firewall was not on, that products were not installed, that hard drives were low. We had a conversion rate of over 70%, 70, of installing these services, or clicking on the buy cloud storage now, or clicking on, oh, I want to upgrade my semantic subscription as a partner of Deutsche Telekom, or I'm going to install Lookout right now.
All right, I'm gonna actually
70%, that's insane, right? Why would people do that just because I sent them a pop-up?
Right, I'm going to interrupt the telecompany. So I have been told that I am not actually accurately assessing how much time we have left because the timer is set up to 0. So go figure. I was going to run till 2. I thought that's
It's
how
the
long.
Whitman Sampler event.
Right. So 60 seconds. Final thoughts, and remember the topic here is investing in social technologies. So with that in mind, 60 seconds. What's coming? What are you excited about?
This is about you investing in social technologies that will get invested in later. It won't be long before there's not a single ad that doesn't have a person's face or name that you know on it. So get ahead of that curve and start thinking about how you're going to use personal social referral to do that.
Or become totally antisocial.
brands and advertisers need to be more aware in using contextual data, and that means weird data, things that is not big data or not real-time data, but stuff that's not obvious, and there are many platforms out there who do that. Look at contextual data. I'm not talking about geolocation. I'm talking about context. Where am I right now? What is my intent to do? What is probably going to happen next? Very much like Google Now that you mentioned. So.
Ready?
A couple things I would mention. I think we are entering an era for marketers of hyper-personalization and customization. So it's an era we've been anticipating for quite some time, and I think it's upon us. May not be exactly here yet, but it's coming, so that you will be able to, target your audience more accurately down to the personal level. I also think that we have all these platforms I mentioned earlier. We've invested in both the consumer side and the enterprise side. Companies like Twitter and